But now, Maddie, where are you? Is it Maddie or Maddie? Forgive me, I didn't pronounce your name. Terrible with this. I would like you to come on over now and tell us a story that somehow involves hiking. I'll leave that up to you.
Hello. Alright, so once upon a time, I was 12 years old, and my brother was, let me do some quick math, he was 16, and my mom asked where we wanted to go on vacation, and we were like both scrappy young boys, and we were like, I was a girl. So we were like, that's nature. We live in the suburbs, there's no trees here, let's go find some trees and stuff. So we chose Yellowstone National Park, and so my mom took us there, and so that was fun. But we discovered that when you go to Yellowstone National Park, the thing to do isn't really I thought we ditch our car at the start and we hike the thing, but that's not the case at all. You basically drive through, and then there's points where you stop, and tourists get out of their safe little vehicle and they go, wow, nature, it's really nice. And then get back in and continue on, and I was like, that's not what I came to do. And so, my mom at the time was old, and she wasn't as sprightly as she is now. And so, I suggested to her we take a hike, and because I was we were at one of these points where, I went to go pee in the forest or whatever, I don't know, and I noticed a flyer on the ground, and so it was a 6-hour, 6-mile hike up a mountain, and I was like, wow, that's that's what I signed up for. So I told my mom let's do this, let's do it. And my brother was like, whatever, I'm 16, cool. And my mom was like, but Madeline, I'm old. Come on, go out with a bang. So she was like, you're right, I don't have much time left. So we went on this hike. So we were on the hike, right? Okay, well, first, this orientation leader, he was obviously, I don't even know if he had a home, he looked 30, and he was cool though, I was into it, And he spent 15 minutes, this is the speech of his life, he practices the speech at the beginning of the hike, And so he spent 15 minutes talking about bathrooms and how there were none, And he was like, do you have to go now? Go now. Because if you have to go, we continue hiking when you go to the bathroom in the forest, if there is a forest, because this is a mountain. And I don't know, I was really good at holding it at that point in my life. I went into this really cocky. I was like, I can hold it for as long as you need me to. Bring it on. So we were on a hike, we got to the mountain, and I was getting these weird cramps that I was 13 to clarify. Wait, no, I was 12. I was 12 to clarify. Any females in the audience know what comes at that age? So I didn't know though, then my mind wasn't there, and so it was my, so I was getting weird cramps, and I'd never felt this before. I'd never felt this feeling before. Yeah, and so then something spurted out of me. In my pants. And I was like, Mom, there's something crazy happening. It was my first period on a mountain. And she was unhappy. She was unhappy and old and didn't want to be there. And she was just merciless. She was like, you got me here, Madeline Mosso. You're gonna go through this. I don't care. I said, do you have pads or do you have anything for me? And she was like, no! And I was wearing, so I just had to like watch while like, the blood seeped through my light wash jeans, and this is my life now. Yeah, and I had this weird thing, like, because I didn't want my brother to know. It was a very secretive thing, so, like, because, I don't know, he, like, told me the other day before the trip, I really, like, looked up to my brother, and I was like, I wanted him to think I was cool, and before the trip, he was like, Madeline, you're becoming such a girl. And I was like, this is it! This is me becoming, it's really happening. So I didn't want him to know, so I was, like, hiking this mountain, like, this is how I hike. And, so that was happening, a lot of things were happening, and so we get off the mountain, and like, everyone was just like completely unaware. I thought like, in my eyes, I would spotlight on me, and like they were all looking at like, they were like, oh wow, this is nature like we've never experienced in our city lives, And I was like, yeah, nature. And you really want to see what's happening? They're like buffalo. I was like really like looking at life through the feminist lens the whole time, looking at the buffalo, like I bet they get periods too. I was very unhappy. And, so we branched off the fucking mountain, We were on a mountain. I'm sorry. It was like I was looking off this. It was scary, and I was scared, and things were happening with my body. It's traumatizing. And so we get off into the forest, and I like snuck away because they didn't, the group doesn't stop. As the orientation leader, not the orientation leader, hike leader told us. And so like I went into the forest, I found like the newest leaves because I figured they were like the softest, and like made a makeshift pad. And like in hunter-gatherer, I hunter-gathered my pad. And so like we ended the hike eventually, and I just like, I don't know, after that, like periods are no big deal to me. Like I've done it all, And so I entered into womanhood. Like that's, it's all a metaphor, because womanhood isn't easy. Being a woman is like hiking up a mountain with your first period, is what I figured was being told to me. Okay. So,